had nothing to do with that. But as a music heiress, and my father has all that kind of following, you know what I mean, and my dad is famous, why would I be knocking on doors? So, I'm just happy that I'm here now. It's about time I tell my story. The Breath of Fresh Heiress show is going on right now, and I'm in the building. I'm sorry I couldn't make it last week, everyone. You know, I had a special performance I wanted to do, and I just couldn't make it happen, and, you know, I was kind of feeling a little funky. And, you know, I don't know, something about when I'm ovulating and I'm kind of feeling kind of funky, I can't get to the camera because I'm afraid that I'm going to be a little too truthful. And then, you know, my father's fans and friends, you keep ratting me out and you keep calling my father and telling him what I'm saying. He won't look at a lot of that stuff if you don't call him. It's like hundreds of people call him. Don't do that. But anyway, so I decided to stay and get it together or whatever so I could, you know, be on my P's and Q's for this week. Now, this week is going to be free 99. Free 99 is basically, I inherited a fur salon, okay? And the fur salon, let me tell you the story about this fur salon that I inherited, okay? Well, once again, we know my dad has all kinds of friends and fans out there who love him, who really loves him. And I remember, see, back in the day, I was kind of inspired by TLC and all kinds of people to dress baggy and, you know, being young and wear all these things. And, you know, I was like my parents' personal doll. You know, I realized that they didn't like what I was wearing because they wanted me to look like this little doll and whatever. So, you know, my dad used to get me all these coats and stuff, and they were custom made and, you know, the little princess kind of looking stuff. And so, you know, I think I was about maybe, I don't know. I started to get like 19, 20, and I had like all of these furs. And I always loved furs because my mom is like, you know, a Diane Carroll. I tell you, she's fabulous, you know, all the time. And so, but I just didn't like the old-fashioned, you know, furs, like the church-looking fur. Like, I just could not deal with it. And they're like, oh, that's classy. And I was like, I don't like classy. Classy's not going to work for me. No pun intended. I know that sounds crazy. But I was like, classy is not going to work for me. So what I did was, you know, the lady who used to be my furrier down in Midtown, I would go in the salon and I would pick out all these cute, funky furs and stuff like that. And so, you know, before I knew it, I had like a whole basement, like a fur salon. And then one day, you know, like maybe one of the last times I saw her, she told me, she said, you know, Rhoda, I just want you to know that if you ever hear that anything happens to me and, you know, you get a phone call, I want you to be the first. There's written instructions that I want you to be the first to come here and take everything out of here because I know that nobody knows what to do with it but you. And I'm like, why is she telling me this? Like, what? Oh, you're going to be here all the time. Like, I really did not understand what she was trying to tell me. But she knew she was dying. So, you know, when I got that phone call, I went down there. And it was a lot of, you know, stuff that was left over, you know, and plus some pieces that she knew I liked. And I took everything home. And it took me some time before I really could get it together to figure out what I was going to do. But I started making jackets. I started shortening jackets. I started making scarves. I started making pocketbooks and bags. And the funny thing is that if anybody, all my friends who really know me, I'm a busybody. When I'm at home, I am painting walls, I'm making furniture, I mean, I am breaking down all kinds of things, stones and crystals, I mean, revamping everything that I have, pocketbooks, all kinds of stuff, shoes. So, you know, a lot of people do know that I used to be very ill when I was young. I was diagnosed with an illness called sickle cell anemia. And I was like ill, fatally, like half of my life. And then one day, miraculously, I don't know, I just recovered from it. And my fetal hemoglobin and everything just rose. and I no longer was classified with the illness. I have like some kind of mild trait to it or whatever. But when I was in the hospital, I didn't know, I had all these furs, and I was so curious about, like, well, what can I do? And I was never a great seamstress. I'm still not a great seamstress, but I know how to do something enough to put it together. So I said, okay, well, let me just, start making stuff. So as I was in the hospital, I started making all these furs and pocketbooks, and people started loving them, and then that's how I became, the fur fashionista. And I call it free 99 because literally it just didn't cost me anything but imagination. So, I had some collars, and I would, turn them into like scarves, do stuff like this to it, because I like the fact that having the scarves, and not really attached to anything, I could, use them interchangeably. And I won't cover my mic up anymore because Cliff over there is giving me the eyes. Okay, so, and then I made this scarf here. And basically, again, same effect, you could put it over a black coat, silver coat, anything you want to put, I've got a mink one. Now this one, if you see the back of it, I think this is more the kind that needs to be sewn down, but I haven't found the suit yet that, I want to use for it. So, but, really good skins. I've had them a while, and some of them I just haven't really done much to. But these are the finished products. This was so many things. This is mink and zebra skin. On one side is zebra skin. It was a pillow. Then it was a pocketbook. Now it's both. It depends on, after a while when I start changing the colors and stuff in my house, so what I do is it has a zip right here. So sometimes I could stuff it, or, I put the strings in or whatever, and, you could use it interchangeably. I have two like this. This pocketbook, this was like a little $2 pocketbook that I found in the thrift shop, and I had some extra material, and I put some crystals. I don't know if the camera can really see. Is this camera see over here, or it doesn't matter? Okay. No, I'm talking about this camera here. But it's rabbit, and it's multicolored. And this here was like another little $2, $3 pocketbook, and I added mink to it. Because I'm the type of woman that I do not like to go any place and I see anybody wearing anything remotely like what I have on. So everything I have to customize. This is a backpack that I made, and basically it was faux fur. And I don't like faux fur. I know PETA is probably hating me right now. I forgot about them. I don't care. It was already dead when I found it. Okay, so I didn't go kill it. But it's reversible, so, you could wear it on this side, it's a backpack. Or you could wear it on the blinged out side, So it could be plain side, fur. And this is lynx, so this is real expensive, cat here. And I made this, and it has this beautiful button, zip tie or whatever. And this is mink, multicolored. And I just fell in love with the material. So I regretted the style that I made because I do like bigger bags, but, it is, gorgeous. So, and this was a hat. And again, I don't really make everything from scratch. I'm more of a visionary, I don't make the hats and stuff. This was a hat that I saw in a thrift shop for like $3, $4. I don't think anybody really had any vision for it. And I just put some fur on the flaps, and I will not put it on because it is not for me. It is definitely for sale. I don't know who's going to wear this hat, but I will get it together. I really need a website, somebody to do this, but this business I'm finished with. I'm more interested in doing the furniture at this point that I'll talk about another time. But And this is a scarf here, you know, with the blue foxtails. I have a few of them. And here's another one. Now this pocketbook here, I put the straps on here, and basically it's like a gun holster. And then this is monkey fur. So this is real expensive fur here, people. You know, you're not even supposed to make monkey fur because it's like illegal, but I had it already. So having all this material that I inherited, you know, I just pretty much made stuff out of stuff that I had. And this is rabbit fur. I made this. And I actually sold this. But I don't want anybody to give me a call talking about make me a bag, because at this point what I'm looking for is somebody who has like some kind of store in the Hamptons or whatever it is, like, and you know, I'll just take stuff over there that I've already made. But unless I was a business funded by somebody who has the time and money to do this, I won't really be interested in this business. But just showing you, this is why a lot of my friends in California started to hire me, because they found me. That's how Maya Campbell found me, you know, because I was friends with, rest in peace, Uptown Ebony Brown. I used to live with her in Hollywood, and she had a hair salon, and I would be in her salon, you know, and I would be selling the furs and stuff like this because I was trying to find some place to get rid of it, because I have so much stuff. I just really didn't have, you know, the use for all of it, you know. But this is rabbit fur. I made this. I think this was a hood or something like that at one point, and I just saw the material, and it just comes to me. Like I could find something in my house or have some stuff, and it just, you know. But I made this. This is fox fur. And this is lynx, again. And so it's, you know, these type of things, you have to know how to wear this, people. You cannot go and try to put everything heavy in the world. This is a lipstick and car key bag, you know, and a couple of dollars. You can't put, because it's real skin. So, you know, real skin, it's skin, so it breaks. So just to let you know just how to care for it. But again, this is lynx fur. And sometimes, you know, I'll connect it with a belt. I'll connect it with, you know, anything that I was like, I was just trying to, you know how you have extra materials or belts or something when you have so many that you just, I wouldn't wear a belt like this, but I was like, okay, it's great for a pocketbook strap or something like that. So stuff just comes to me. And like even like this, I didn't do much to this, but, you know, this was like, just something that I just added, you know, the embellishment, and I changed the chains, you know, to make them the metal chains or whatever. And I made all this stuff when I used to be sick in the hospital. I mean, I made this stuff years ago. I got to be honest. Like, I haven't been sick in like 10 years. So I really, you know, and a lot of the stuff and some of it I did make, I guess, maybe a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago. But, you know, good material. It's not shedding, not having really a problem. But this here is mink. And this was already together because this was something that was in her store, the lady that passed. So, you know, and it's like some kind of, I don't know what kind of, like, some kind of animal's horn or something it looks like. And this I made, you know, from scratch myself. I don't know. I was thinking, I mean, I love blue. Blue is my favorite color. I love sequins and stuff like that. And it was just like a lot of mink material. And I just put it together. And again, being a breath of fresh air is, it has some value, you understand, just because it's mine. So I don't know how perfect some of this stuff is, but you know, it's one of a kind, and that's the nice thing about it. You know that you won't see anybody. And see you later, Facebook. And hello, Breath of Fresh Air show. So now we're over here looking at this. This is mink, and one of my favorites, I think. This is mink and rabbit. And, you know, it's all about, for me, it's all about the colors that blend and go together. You know, my dad and my family used to have this brownstone in Harlem. Right, 1 West 125th Street. They sold it for like 15 million. So now it's like the Applebee's and everything else. But I had a store up there, and I would be in my family's building, and I had a real estate company in there. And I had more of a market then, I guess, because I was a real estate broker, but I had a spot there. So in Harlem, I had more of a market for it. But now living in Queens, I really don't see much, of a market for it. But knowing now, I wouldn't want to go to Manhattan with it because competition, I guess, with the Fur District. And I really would want to be like in the Hamptons. I got to be where the people have the money to buy it and they really don't care about it as much, and it would go quicker. I think that would work more for me, especially that I need like a spot with lots of space, because I'm telling you, like my biggest thing now, this is mink, 2 colors, mink and, shells. My biggest thing is that I really was focusing more on being a real estate broker. But this is how, I met Maya Campbell. It was all about the actress that I do a lot of things with and have the book with. She saw me. She came to Ebony's shop, Back to the Nat, when we was on Crenshaw Boulevard, and I was in there and selling pocketbooks and furs. And the first thing, she was like, "Girl, you must be Rhoda, that girl. Ebony's from New York." And that was it. And so I started trying my outfits on her. I was getting publicity because, she was wearing my coats, and, it's just something natural we love doing, just being a female, and females like furs, and, we like to play in jewelry and makeup, and you know how we do. So, and this is another scarf that I made. And basically, again, sequins. I did make one headband, and it's not fur, but just to give you an idea, I'm always putting something blinged out somewhere. I will find. What do my friends call me on the internet? I forgot what it was. What, the bedazzler? Oh, yeah, they call me the bedazzler, And this actually was my grandmother's hat, but it just went in the bag, so I guess it's just here because of that. And that's really... Anything else I bring? Oh, yeah, you could tell there's some scraps left from, I think these were boot warmers I was going to use for, the bottom of the, the short boots that I have. So that's what this right here is for. But I also made this headband. I actually got the headband from her, the lady that passed, but I added like, some brooch or something like that. How much more time left? Well, basically, let's talk about all the furs that I have and what I plan to do with them. I mean, I'm considering having a website to auction a lot of this stuff off, I like the contrast of the silk Asian, material, with the furs. And I like I like, the idea of selling the items that I have, because at this point, my biggest focus is renovating my house and doing furniture. What I like about doing furniture is that it's more universal, and of course, it's not really about size. I find that, when you do furniture, obviously, it's not as big of a deal. Like, I used to do jackets, and I used to do, pants, and because you can make this stuff and then it's hard to sell, and I don't like the idea of being on eBay. I've totally graduated from the eBay lifestyle. I used to have like 6 or 7 eBay stores, and what I don't like about eBay is, as an heiress, as the breath of fresh heiress, I mean, you guys know where I come from and the legacy I come from, and how much music and how much there is out there about me, but I'm still unknown, like, I'm not a household name. So what I had a problem with is that, to me and to a lot of people, eBay is racist, because they assume if you live in a certain zip code, or if you're a black woman and they don't know you, they don't understand why. Oh yeah, it's crazy. They don't understand that your stuff is real. Like, they would be like, how could you not tell mink is mink? How could you, there's really nothing that you can't fake that. It's not like Gucci or Louis Vuitton or, anything like that. So I found that, and then it gets funny, because eBay has just become so corrupt at this point, because a lot of people just claim not as described the minute they get something, just because that's the only way that they can get it back, for free. So I'm not interested in selling or shipping. If I don't have a storefront location, then I'm not interested in selling it. And I have no plans on being in the store and being a salesman. Again, I am more of just a brand, the visionary, the creator of a lot of different enterprises, because I'm extremely busy having to manage, my dad's career, my career, some of my friends who are famous, their career. I was supposed to have a rapper on tonight, I'll talk a little bit about later, even his career. I have a lot going on pertaining to my life. So at this point, I'm only interested in setting up a couple of, maybe pop-up shops, but it's got to be somebody who already has following. I find that, if you're selling this type of merchandise to people who don't really have following, it'll just sit there forever, And fur has a shelf life, depending on what kind of fur it is, or how you keep it, or if you're storing it properly. So I really don't want to get into that so much. Now, the last video I did, Free 99, that video didn't work out. It worked out in the studio, and it live streamed, but it didn't get recorded. So with the video not getting recorded, it's not on the Breath of Fresh Heiress's page. It is on my Facebook page, Duchess Rhoda Pruitt. So if you want to see that show, you can see it there. But what I did was, pretty much I have become like a personal shopper, for a few people out there in the industry. And again I say, I did this because I would shop on my own. A lot of people think that because my dad is the Jimmy Castor Bunch, or because he's has over, hundreds of people who sample his music and he gets royalty money, and I'm a real estate broker, they assume that I spend a lot of money to buy the things that I do, but I don't. everything I get, I pretty much get for a couple of dollars because I am the shopping connoisseur. I go to every thrift shop I can find. And you'd be surprised, like these shoes that I have on, these shoes are like $300-400 shoes. But the shoes that I have on, I only paid $5 for it, you know? And again, that's why I don't buy clothes and I don't sell clothes or, you know, do that anymore, because if you don't have a name like a Amber Rose or something like that, where your stuff is just going to fly off the shelf because of who you are, you have to negotiate on price. And then, you know, having shoes and sizes like that, it really doesn't make sense to have, because who loves the shoes, she may be a size 10. These are a size 8. So then, you know, you get into that personal situation where somebody might like a size, like a coat or a jacket, and they might be the wrong size, you know, for the jacket. So that's why I no longer do clothes. If I did anything, I would do more accessories if I was interested in doing that kind of line. And even this jacket, let me just show you real quick, and I'll sit right back down. I think the camera can see. This jacket that I got, this jacket was about $500, $460. It was a tag or whatever on the inside. It came from Neiman Marcus, and it was from like the clearance rack of Neiman Marcus, so then it went down to like $300 or something like that. But I got it for $10 in a thrift shop, and it was supposed to be $20, but then, you know, when the color is like orange or green, depending on the, you know, the color of the day. So I ended up getting the jacket for $10. And the reason why I shop like this is because being a real estate broker, I'm more interested in flipping properties, renovating, you know, my house. Right now, I'm re-cementing. I know I'm a little late for it, but I just put in like 6 or 7 windows. So I'm more into, you know, spending my money in my house, in my properties. So I no longer spend the money like, you know, in clothes and all the stuff I used to do back in the day. I used to be a fool too. I used to go in the stores and I used to drop it in Gucci, Louis Vuitton, $2,000-3,000 like it was nothing. But free 99 with 1 or 2 items in my closet. I have a closet that looks like really looks like a department store, and it's because I get more for my money by getting everything I want in my closet without spending the money. So I don't just hoard and collect just anything average or mediocre. If it's not like hot to death and I can't leave the store without it, I don't buy it. Now, a lot of people ask me to be a personal shopper, and sometimes I do it, but you know, it depends on my timing, and it depends on what the clientele is like. You know, I do high-end, can't do low-end anymore, because again, I'm a real estate broker, so that's where my priority is. And when you go in these stores, you pretty much have to know what you're looking for. You know, not even what you're looking for. When you go in these stores, just to give you an idea of how to shop, you're going in for something that's hot, point blank. It doesn't matter the season. It doesn't matter, like I might buy a bathing suit. I saw a bathing suit for $3 the other day. I buy anything that's a great discount and anything that looks good on me or anything that has value. And that's basically what you're looking for when you're shopping. You're looking for the come up. You're not looking to like hoard your closets, and because that's what I did. I did yard sales forever, trying to get rid of all of the clutter and the junk that I had. So now that I renovated my house, all I have to tell you, this is the Breath of Fresh Heiress show, and thanks for watching. People thought that I wanted to be famous because I wanted to be like Paris Hilton and all these other type of people out here. It had nothing to do with that. But as a music heiress, and my father has all that kind of following, you know what I mean, and my dad is famous, why would I be knocking on doors? So I'm I'm just happy that I'm here now.
But I'm doing another
It's about
show.
time I tell my story.
You just tell me when to talk about it. That was a half an hour, right?
Well, we're back, the Breath of Fresh Heiress show, and I always break my shows up into 2 shows because I think an hour is just way too long to talk about any subject, especially when you're dealing with somebody like me, because we all know I'm all over the place. I have so much going on, but that's the busybody in me. I wouldn't have it any other way, probably. So, as it occurred to me, last night we were all on Facebook. Harry, oh my God, wasn't it a mess last night? Just how things come up and you really don't realize all the blessings that you have. Sometimes we get caught up in our problems, our family issues, or whatever it is that we're going through at the moment. And I was talking about yesterday's show. I didn't talk about it earlier because I was being the fashionista, so I was like really into something else at the moment. But I was supposed to have my friend Cool T of the Afros. I didn't really say it before, but you probably saw because I put a picture of Marvin, Jam Master Jay's brother, and Cool T from the Afros. And I'm not going to tell his story. I'm going to let him tell his story. But basically, I'll tell you a little bit about what Cool T is into right now from the Afros. He does construction. So you already know why we would relate to one another and why we've been cool for so many years like this is because he's famous and he does construction. Sound familiar? I mean, I'm not famous. My father's famous and all my friends are famous, but we have that fame thing in common. There's nobody in Queens Village who's famous but my father and him, really. I mean, like in a 3-block radius or whatever. And then he does construction. And I will definitely see him. I just want you guys to see him because, the weight of these heavy people, I always put them out there back into the stratosphere somewhere because who needs a star walking around in the street? Doesn't work, It's better when they are well received by the people who can deal with their lives because the average person doesn't have the resources to deal with these type of people. Now, he does, flooring and construction, and you're definitely going to see him in my house. Well, he's always going to stop by and come over anyway because we're friends. But I want him to do my staircase over or just part of it because I had a contractor that I really wasn't so happy with. So he's going to do that over. But just, the funny thing is my market seems to be people who are already famous and people who already have had great careers. And then the funny thing is that we all connect because I am connected to the whole Run DMC family because Run DMC sampled my family. There's like 3 or 4 songs that was sampled by, Run DMC sampled by my family. And then I had Tyra Myricks, on my show, which is Jam Master Jay's daughter. And then I live a couple of blocks from the big mural where Jam Master Jay is. So you see what I'm saying? Again, you have this common thread of fame and these kids like myself who come from these large dynasties like this, and we relate to one another because we have so much, in common. And sometimes not in common, but we're not going to talk about that tonight. We're going to move right along. But, just in last night, how these things just organically, come about. As I was talking to Kimba, yes, Kimba, she's Jam Master Jay's, I want to say everything because she runs, pretty much like his foundation. And she also, her brother, actually, I was looking at, he comes from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, who again sampled my father. But now I think, a lot of times I would get on the internet and I would always say, the same thing pretty much because I'm so overwhelmed with my father's career. It's impossible to name all the people that have sampled him because he's number 2 on the sample list in the world. So, he's basically number 1 in the world along with Jimmy Castor, my godfather, Jimmy Castor Bunch, period. If you don't count James Brown, if you count them as a living artist, he's number 1 as a living artist. But if you count, the second most sampled, either way, 1 or 2, that pretty much is a lot of music out there. So when people ask me, certain songs or whatever it is, I really have to be walking around with a secretary or somebody who I need. That, I guess that's why you see a lot of celeb kids, like maybe a Nicole Richie, she married a DJ. We like people who can help facilitate our world, because it's so much going on at any given moment. We never know where we're going to be, which is why I learned that I personally don't like having a real estate company, an office like I used to. It was cool when I had partners before, because, you know, being an associate broker, well, I was then, I'm principal broker now. I own my own company, but most of these celebrities, most of my agents, they're going to follow me. So if you want that, if the camera wants to see my life, you're going to have to follow me, because it's not about anybody else's schedule, because their priority, because of the things that they have going on, they're in more demand. So therefore, they don't have to follow your schedule. You got to follow theirs if you want it. And that's pretty much what it has become, you know. I think that because we all are cut from a similar cloth, or we're all crossed, you know, like crossed with one another's careers. And as I was talking, you know, to some of my friends on the internet, I came across, which I've always seen, my father's discography. Okay, and the list of all the people that pretty much sample his music. And I don't even think they have all of it, but I literally fell asleep trying to write some of the people that I have not mentioned in other videos. And I feel bad, because I may say In Vogue, because I'm friends with Dawn from In Vogue, or I know some of the people from In Vogue, or I'll mention a Missy Elliott, or I'll mention people that just happens to cross my mind, but then I forget a lot of the people that I really don't know. There's Tony Hawk, there's video games, there's movies out there, like, you know, Who Got Served. You know, we were watching, what was it? What show was it? So You Think You Can Dance, or I think something like that. And we were watching, you know, people, Chad Ochocinco, dance to his music. So literally, I mean, I was also watching the Bernie Mac show, and then I hear my dad's song on the Bernie Mac show. So it's literally everywhere we go, you know. And I just have to acknowledge that I did take notice of some people that I really did not realize that was on the list. I knew Pharrell was on the list, but I never really publicly acknowledged him. And I want to do that because, I mean, I'm a fan of you guys as much as you're a fan of us. And my dad is so low-key, he doesn't speak to anybody. He doesn't come out and do the Hollywood anything. The only person you'll see out in Hollywood pretty much is me and my crazy friend, you know. But he is really a low-key kind of person, and that's why I did a video of him before, just letting the world meet him, because he has not done an interview like for 35 years other than the video that I did with him before. But again, you could be with us for so long and we could talk about a million things that we really don't get a chance to cover the things that we mean to cover, you know, because it's like there's no way. I mean, the world knows more about us than we know of ourselves, you know, at this point. So I wanted to acknowledge Nas and the song Halftime, you know, who else? Let me get to the actual link here, because it was a lot of, I must have put like, and I didn't even put that many songs. I just put, you know, like 37 songs out there that I could, see, now it's going to this here. Yeah. I wanted to acknowledge Redman. I wanted to acknowledge Bar Keys, Son of Shaft. I wanted to Naughty by Nature, the song OPP. I mean, some of what I love about our life is that some of the greatest people in the world have sampled him, which gives us life again, you know? So with them having hit songs on top of his hit songs, it just makes me proud to know that, I mean, literally, I'm a fan of everybody else's music. And the funny thing is, I didn't even know every single song out there that I was interested in or I did love like everybody else, I didn't even know that it came from my father. But MC Light, never acknowledged her. I Crammed to Understand You, major hit. You know, Ain't It Funky? I played that last night. Makiba and Scratch. What else? Big L featuring Cameron and McGruff. Who else? Soul to Soul, Jazzy's Groove. Everybody knows Soul to Soul. I also want to acknowledge Gary Bird. I mean, because his career is just a little tricky. I won't go into that until I get more confirmation from my father and he explains to me just exactly how he has these major hits. But I believe, I'm not even going to say what I believe. I'm going to let that go because he's going to watch Hi Daddy, how you doing? Because he's going to watch everything that I say. And he hates that I say, okay, and what else do I say? Something else I say. I'm working on it, all right? But what else is it that I say? I say okay, and something else I say, but I'm working on it because all of this stuff is live. I don't want to be scripted. When I'm scripted, I want you to know who I am. The reason why I'm doing this the way that I'm doing this is because I see what a lot of my famous friends are going through as actresses and actors. And because they started out so young in the business, they never had a personality. They never had, you know, I mean, as far as to the industry, they never had an image. It's like they were born, they were casted as a certain role, and now that they're adults, people have a hard time identifying with who they really are as people. So I didn't want anybody to call me up, because I get annoyed when people call me up and ask me, am I going to do this for special perks? Am I going to do this? Am I going to be a hoe, basically? Hell no. Don't call me with that bullshit. I want you to know my personality. I want you to know how upfront I am, so that way we will get along better. That was the purpose of me having this show, because I don't want y'all to get me fucked up out there, because I am not the one for a lot of bullshit. And you all see my videos on my page. Everybody know how I get down. I did a video the other day, and for a straight hour I just read niggas, because y'all, it's a lot of y'all. It's way too many of y'all, and you already see what kind of legacy I got going on. So I'm just letting you know, don't even think about calling me. You better call one of the other actresses. You got a better, believe it or not, you got a better chance with them than me, because I am not the one. I am really corny though. I'm like my father, and you know he don't come out for nothing. If you don't send him a check, he will not see you. That's the only way he deals with you. We don't really like a lot of people, because we realize that dealing with the average person, it got a lot of flaws for us that we just cannot deal with, because we are super anal and just good people, and we don't have like a lot of bad habits and shit like that. So I'm just being real honest with you, so that way you know how to deal with us. But I'm back to the sample list over here. So I want to say that, you know, the Jungle Brothers, I mean, it's funny today because Harold was posting, remember today? Harold was posting pictures of, like, Professor Grip, what was it? Chuck D. And who else? I can't, X-Clan. I mean, he was so, and I was like, oh, come on, Harold, stop posting pictures of people, because I had to literally put the videos or put the songs to acknowledge. Eric B. and Rakim, his daughter was I was supposed to do something with her, you know, with the whole Celeb Kids reality show, because, see, this is the thing, you know, when you are an heir or a descendant, I'm talking definite second generation, you know, heir to this, at some point we have to meet all of you people. So, you know, at some point there will be a transfer of power. So the reason why I wanted to be famous is not that I really want to be famous. I just wanted assistance with my life, because I realized that it's not going to happen, you know what I mean, dealing with people who are not trained, highly trained to help people like myself, because this is way too much for me to deal with. But Move the Crowd by Eric B. and Rakim, come on, who did not love this? The Jungle Brothers, Mars, Pump Up the Volume. That song is like comprised of like a lot of songs in the industry. My father being one of them, my godfather, the Jimmy Castor Bunch, you know. Who else? Let's see. the Rocksteady crew is with the It's Just Begun. They actually put us on the map by doing the movie Flashdance. The whole breakdancing era came from the Rocksteady crew put that song in Flashdance. And when they put that in Flashdance, that is like the #1 dance song when it comes to breakdancing. So, you know, again, in Latin communities or any the break dancers, they see my father or they see the Jimmy Castor Bunch and they go crazy. So, you know, that really brought us into well, who else can I name? Yeah, the Beastie Boys, In Vogue. I just have to name Usher, Kanye West, Madonna. There's so many people out there, but basically, I'll talk a little bit about Celeb Kids reality show and why I started that. I started that like I was trying to, you know, go into before was because basically you have people like myself, if you don't live in a certain zip code, like 90210, I noticed that I was able to accomplish way more in California being a celeb kid than I can in New York. And it's because, I guess, with the structure of the buildings in New York, getting into MTV and BET and all of those type of buildings, it's just a different lifestyle, you know, in California than it is in New York. And having the friends who already have the publicity and who already are well known, it's like I was more appreciated out there being cut from the cloth that they were from. Whereas in New York, I'm like in a class by myself. So I find that I have people who, if they can't really identify with your lifestyle, they're not interested in your lifestyle. And I knew that there was a lot of value in my lifestyle because of all the people attached to it. So I started the Celeb Kid reality show, and I got Ian Edwards because as a celeb kid and having access to all the knowledge that we have and our parents getting older, I used to fear that I would wake up and my father wouldn't be there and I wouldn't be able to prove what he told me and what I knew, you know, because there was really no record of him and me. I mean, obviously DNA and I look like him, but other than that, I would say certain things out there and people wasn't sure what kind of relationship we had with one another. So I felt like, you know, I had to get, since he's so low key, I had to get his story on wax or get his personality on wax because I looked on whosampled.com just last night. And because my father doesn't take pictures, because he's just so low-key like that, I started, like, years ago taking pictures of him. I'm going to have to contact whosampled.com because there's a picture of, like, a white face with no features and a big afro. And I know that there's a movie being made about my family. It was supposed to come out a couple of years ago. I don't know, just if that's going to happen or not. I don't know if my family, I was talking to my family, you know, if they're going to be behind it or what the situation is going to be. But I always feared my story being told the wrong way. You know, I see what other heiresses and heirs go through and other celeb kids go through. And I watch my friends, like when I had James Brown's daughter who passed, but then the other one who's alive, and I watch I won't say which ones they are right now, but, you know, they were signed to my show. So, and when they go in a store and they find dolls of their parents, it's like, it's really a weird reality what we go through because when people decide to make a movie about you and they just put anything they want to put out there, especially when they don't know much about your personality. And so I wanted to make myself visible and I wanted to relate to other people who I knew could understand my circumstance because I found that when just being in the dating world, like just going out with other guys, I felt myself not even really wanting to date because people could not relate to my life. And they wanted me to forget who I was, or they wanted me to not, like to give you an example. I was dating this guy, it was the Israeli investor, you know, and it didn't matter how much money he had, I couldn't connect to him because no matter where he took me or what he tried to do, it's like he wanted me because he's an investor, I'm a real estate broker. Obviously, you know, there's a strong connection there because we love houses. Knock on doors. You got to understand that no celeb kid who has thousands of people that know you already, even if they don't really know you, they know your father. You know, you have a different way of working your system. And I said, there's people who already love me because they love them. I mean, you got diehard fans and fanatics who just love you. So why would I be knocking on doors trying to convince people that I'm the right real estate broker for them when there are people who want to know me, people who trust me, people who know me from my own real estate fame? So we were having a conflict of interest of how we did business. So I was like, wow, you know, I relate to the celebrity, obviously, especially if he's been detached from his career for a long time. So I'm a breath of fresh air, literally, you know, because who else in the neighborhood can you talk to about certain things other than me? How, you know, how else can you can relate to somebody like me? Just one day hanging out with me, we could go literally from Hollis to Hollywood, just like that, because, you know, of our associations with one another. But then sometimes I can't even relate to them because I can see their flaws as a celeb kid, as a manager, you know, especially being taking on a role similar to my father where we more like manage artists, or how I do with Maya Campbell is like the same thing that my father did with Jimmy Castor, you know, so we can see certain things that, you know, might not be great for their careers or whatever, but, you know, it's all about relating to whoever it is that you're doing business with. And there's different ways that we relate to these people, whether it's the investor, whether it's the rapper, whether it's the actress. You know, it's hard for the average person to really be able to deal with us because what they think is a waste of time is really the best investment of our lives because we're visionaries. So, I mean, I said it before. People at Arista Records, RCA Records, Atlantic Records, Smash Records, all the record companies that my dad was associated with and still is associated with, BMI, music, everybody, they told him, you can't have hits in every category. Pick one. Is it going to be rock? Is it going to be R&B? Is it going to be bluegrass? Is it going to be funk? Is it going to be soul? Is it going to be Latin? My dad said all of them. And everybody laughed and everybody thought he was crazy. But he has hits in every category. So you have to understand when a celeb kid is telling you something, it may be foreign to you, but it's very possible. It's not even possible. It's going to happen for us. It's just a matter of time because we know how to climb and get to where we want to get to, especially me. I'm a Capricorn. You know, a goat can go from, I mean, like under the sea to on top of the mountain, you know, and just climb where we want to get. So, and even like being a broker I was with Century 21 for a while. And even with them, I could not relate to their whole system of cold calling and how they arrive at getting clientele. I'm more into because I'm a certified film and TV producer with QPTV. I did, you know, take some classes on it. And plus I have the life experience of it. So I was more interested in, like I say, my biggest thing is with the type of talent that I have. I'm not trying to be Roanna or Rihanna. We got enough of that. I'm interested in really going to Home and Garden TV. I want my own show on DIY Network, whether it's from being an interior designer, being a real estate broker. I'm looking at these TV shows, and you have no black people up there you have no black shows. I don't have to be on BET. I don't have to be on MTV. All I'm saying is that as I look at the type of people like myself who are always going to be industry or always be a reflection of the empire that we come from, aside from having the talents or the careers that we have, it's time that, I bring all the people on board that are a part of my world who already have the following and who already have the talent to create something new. Because when I look at these other businesses who really feel, I guess, that they have a certain way or a certain policy that's been working for them for years, I find it just a little too redundant. I think it's time to do something new. I think it's time for a new experience, and I think it's time to turn on Home and Garden TV and DIY networks and see some black people who are accomplished, who can do the same thing that you see all of the people that are up there on TV are doing. Every homeowner, every home buyer, every real estate broker doesn't have to be white. That's all I have to really say. I just wanted to be honest about my feelings about the industry and just let all the people know that have loved us all these years and put us on the map that we want to do bigger and better things, and we want to bring everybody with us. And that's all I have to say today at the Breath of Fresh Heiress show. And thanks for watching. I'm Duchess.